guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and just someone with a lot of passion and curiosity and thirst for knowledge, for all this amazing science and tools that you can use to improve how your brain functions, to improve how your body functions, to improve how you function, to feel, look, and do your absolute best in this world. And today is about feeling our best, but also because of that, doing our best. I think it's, you can say that about everything. Like if you feel good, you're gonna do better and more, and you're gonna be more effective. But when it comes to this quality, and today we are talking about confidence. When it comes to confidence, it really makes a huge difference in people's performance, in what they achieve, in how often they are promoted or how well they are paid, and what kind of opportunities people get, right? Confidence is really important. And in my life, I noticed that whenever I managed to create the conditions outside of me and inside of me to manifest more confidence, even though I must admit, I am more on a confidence side naturally. And you'll soon find out in this episode why that might be and why you might not feel all that confident and how you can start feeling more confident on a more consistent basis, taking certain action. But what I notice in my life, back to my story, is whenever I feel the most confident, I take more action, and these actions produce more results, especially when it comes to interacting with the world. And most of our results have to do with interactions with the world, with other people. When people see a confident person, they want to work with them more. They want to come on board with the opportunities that these people offer. They just want to be around those people. Confidence, it probably, you can say it's also a huge part of being a charismatic person who is magnetically attracting people, opportunities, things into their life. And I am on a more confident side, but I also know that I can do better, being more intentional about creating more of this confidence, especially for the moments that matter. When we need to show up confidently, be that work presentation, be that pitch to investors, be that a class, a workshop that we are leading that has the potential to change, to impact people, and that can bring a lot more opportunities into our life. As far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, confidence, we need it every day. And I finished the book, and the book's name is The Confidence Code. It's a New York Times bestseller, really good book, really good research, a lot of data from genetics to brain chemistry to simply people's research, asking people, interviewing people who are in positions of leadership, and who express and radiate a lot of confidence. It's an amazing book. So The Confidence Code, The Art and Science of Self-Assurance, What Women Should Know. So this book is written by women, and it is designed to be read by mostly women, but I do believe that guys will benefit from it tremendously. Learning to, I'm talking about the guys, to understand what it is to actually be in a human head. And why is that for women, it's really hard to understand competitiveness. Some women do understand it, but for the most of women, it's actually not a natural trait. And I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago about how I feel like I don't have competitiveness in me. And my friend, his name is Paul. Paul, if you're listening, hello from Brazil. And we were talking about confidence, and Paul was saying that he feels that competitiveness often, and that for him, it's hard to understand how you don't feel that. But what I learned from the book, for women, it's actually quite a natural state to not be competitive. And competitiveness doesn't have to do a lot with confidence. What I learned from this book, that confidence can be different. Confidence is not about being aggressive and competitive all the time and assertive, basically knowing that, or being sure that you know everything and you don't need anyone's advice. It's the extreme case. Of course, you don't have to be that extreme. What actually the book taught me, that confidence, women who who express the kind of mixed confidence signals or qualities, women who possess the manly qualities of confidence to some degree, not to a big degree, like assertiveness or aggressiveness or competitiveness, but women who combine it with their feminine kind of confidence traits, like being focused more on collaboration, not on winning, being more process oriented, or how we do things, not just the end result, or paying attention to other people more and what good others have to offer, having humility and working on our persuasive power, trying to figure out win-win solutions. This kind of leadership and confidence, actually based on research, outperforms manly confidence every time. So they brought up this example about how women who are able to combine these qualities of manly confidence and womanly confidence, they tend to be promoted 1.5 times more over men, and when women who are more on a female side all the time, and also men who are more feminine. So this is like the best of both worlds when we can combine it. So this is a introduction, right? What this book is about. And I want to get a little bit into the book, what you'll learn from this book. And also today I'm going to walk you through a few simple tools, exercises, habits that you can start practicing. And I definitely put that into my practice journal, things to practice when I start feeling like I lack confidence, when I start to doubt myself. So these tools you're going to learn today, very simple, zero cost. And after that, I recommend you to, well, first of all, take notes. The second thing, right after you finish listening to this podcast, put a few of these habits into your schedule to practice. Perhaps there are situations where you need to start practicing this. The ones that make the most sense for you right now, put them into practice and your confidence will get a boost and you'll feel more confident consistently. But, just like with shower, in order for it to work, you got to do it daily. And that's what also the book brings attention to. Confident people are confident, like they have other things going for them often, but also they talk to themselves in a different way. They behave in a different way. And you're going to find out in a minute what I'm talking about here. And it's all about daily practices and habits of their mind and practice how they take action. It's not just possessing the quality. No, actually a smaller part seems to be a smaller part of it. It's all about also how you choose to act, to talk to yourself, and how you frame or how you interpret things, what kind of meaning you assign to things. So let's get into the book a little bit and then jump right into practice. So number one thing is, what you want to understand, what's going to minimize or diminish your confidence are mainly those three things: self-doubting, self-talk of any kind. Sometimes it's hard to notice that we have this self-doubting self-talk, but I can share with you personally that for me, that manifests as when I plan to approach people with opportunities or start working on certain projects. If my brain starts to talking me out of that. Well, that's probably a stupid idea. Oh, that probably not going to work. Oh, this person will probably say no. So this is also self-doubting because you don't know. Why do you assume the worst outcome? And I self-analyzed myself recently and I realized this is the lack of self-confidence. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to talk about how to address that. But self-doubting, self-talk can manifest itself in many ways. Specifically, you got to look at the actions that you take or don't take. That will give you a clue about whether you actually have those self-doubting self-thoughts or not. Right? Look at the results, because these thoughts can be fleeting and can be hard to notice, especially if you don't meditate. You have thousands and thousands of thoughts. I forgot, it's like 50 or 60,000. So sometimes it's hard to notice. But if you don't take action, most often it's because of this self-doubting self-talk. The second thing for women especially, trying to be perfect, trying to make it all right, trying to know it all before acting. But the thing is, guys, even the best ideas, when they meet the reality, for most people, even people like who create, founders, entrepreneurs, business owners who created things like Starbucks or Instagram, multi-billion-dollar app, their first ideas before they met the reality were crap. They didn't work. And then those people tried, adjusted, and that's what happened. So trying to be perfect is stupid, actually, because you can never be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. And you can only get better. We all can only try and work on getting better. And the only way to do it is to take action, learn from, more often than not, mistakes and failures, and then adjust, and then take different action until you get the result. It's still probably not going to be perfect. Most probably, again, there is no perfection, but it's going to be better. And then ruminating on past mistakes and failures. That's also been a huge thing for me. Recently, I went through a lot of struggles with my business, with my finances, and it's been, as I realized, continuing for quite a while. And it dawned on me, with many different things happening in my life. And for like a week, I was in a really low state. And I was like, why did I do that? Why, how could I? What was I thinking? But then I realized, Angela, learn from this. Write down the lessons that you learned, things that didn't work, and stop thinking about that. The only way to move forward is to start taking new actions that are better. After you reflect on the lessons that you learned, there is no point on ruminating on those mistakes. If you want to improve, if you want to get better, if you want to change your circumstances, if you stay in the past will stay with you. Remember this, guys. If you stay in the past will stay with you. So don't stay in the past, take new action, focus on building a better future. And that's how you get out of that. So 3 things that will diminish your confidence: self-doubting, self-talk, again, can manifest in many ways. Trying to be perfect and ruminating on past mistakes and failures beyond necessary reflection on your mistakes. Now let's jump to where the confidence come from. Like, why do some people have more confidence and why some people don't? And from this book, The Confidence Code, they talk to researchers, they talk to scientists, from people who study genetics, from companies who do genetic testing. They also talk to, for example, women who lead military organizations or who have really high post in government that women tend not to have statistically. So they talk to those people, they talk to the researchers, and these are the reasons, or these are the sources of confidence and why we vary so much in our confidence level. So confidence, it depends on our genes. You can actually do genetic testing and learn if you have the confidence genes. Well, they're not specifically confidence, but they have to do with how your brain is wired, for example, for release of certain neurotransmitters that have a lot to do with confidence, like serotonin, for example. Then the second thing, confidence has to do with neurotransmitters and different levels of those neurotransmitters in different brains. Our brains are different. Our brain signatures, like what kind of molecules are released, how they're used, at what rate, how efficiently or not that efficiently, how fast or how slow. All of this stuff varies from person to person a lot. Specifically, we are talking here about neurotransmitters like serotonin, like dopamine, like oxytocin, that are very important for your base confidence levels. And of course, they are also, you're genetically and by your environment predisposed to having certain levels of them, but then you can also change the levels with certain actions, certain nutrition, certain lifestyle adjustments that we often talk on this podcast about. Then we have gender differences. So brains of different genders are different in a sense that not like the volume is different or somebody's smarter. No, they just work differently. Like certain, for example, anxiety centers in the brain or fear centers usually are more active in women. So we tend to worry more. We tend to overthink more just because certain brain areas are bigger or more active. And for men, there is another story. Other brain regions are more active that have to do with aggressiveness or competitiveness. Or self-assurance. And that's why men tend to be, try a lot of things and they're not that afraid of failure. And they're also a little bit more reckless, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. That has to do with different brain structuring and wiring. And they're good they serve better different purposes. Again, not better or worse, they just design differently. And they designed in that way. So when we collaborate, males and females, we create this perfect balance, exploring the world, but then also taking care of all the possible dangers and our safety. Then we have the hormones, testosterone and estrogen. For some women and men, they are higher comparatively to the rest of the people. For some, they are lower, and that will determine how much confidence and that assertiveness you have. Nurture and nature and environment, right? We already talked about genes, but then also how you grow up, especially your caregivers, have a lot to do with how confident or not confident you are. And then the environment in which you grow up in general, it has a lot to do with the levels of confidence. And that can be changed. Even as adults, we can change a lot, but our baseline is kind of defined then by our genes and also by our early years and the way our caretakers took care of us. Then we have biases in culture. Like if in some cultures, it is believed that women are less confident, the women are worse at mathematics, for example, or tech. There is actually no evidence for that. Women do just as fine when they focus on being just as strong and when they are not, when they're in an environment that is safe and promotes messages of confidence. So women do well, but if you have bias in your culture about certain gender, about certain ethnicity that you belong to, that will affect your confidence levels a lot. And then we have habits and actions, how you do, and we're going to jump into practice right in a minute. So habits and actions that you take or don't take, they hugely affect your confidence level. So this is the combination of this will bring you a certain level of confidence, your base level of confidence and the confidence that you experience in certain situations. Like some people in stress situations become more confident and they bring everything they have to the table. And some people do the opposite. They are worse than they are capable of. And that also has to do with the amount of stress you can tolerate, your skills of working under pressure that can be trained, a lot of things. But I want you to understand that confidence, first of all, the levels of your confidence can be adjusted. The confidence can be different. It can be more male. It can be more female. It can be a combination of both. And also confidence comes from all these different sources. Some of them are in your control. Some aren't. So how to get confident? How to increase our confidence levels no matter what circumstances we grew up in, or what genetics we have, or what kind of care we were given when we were younger, what kind of environment we grew up in, how to increase our confidence. Well, there is a shortcut that they bring up at the end of the book as kind of like conclusion. So the shortcut is think less, take action, be authentic. Think less has to do with not overthinking, and it goes right into the next one. Take action. Don't try to be perfect. You will never be. People make mistakes. That is a totally normal situation. That's how people learn. That's how people improve. So take action, see the results, adjust, and think less. Think less. Take more action. It also brings the point back to me about how our personality traits are not about what we think, but about what we do. So what I mean by that is, if you want to be more kind, don't think about being kind. Act kindly, and you gonna be a kind person. The same goes for confidence. If you want to be more confident, take more action. Take more action. Take more action. Doubt yourself less, and you're gonna become more confident person. Act as if. And then do all the other tools that you're about to learn. And be authentic. Just be okay with who you are. This is who you are. This is who you came to be. This is how you serve the world better. Now, it doesn't mean just accept all our bullshit and never improve. No, it just means accept the way you are wired, work on your strengths, and improve on things, that you believe need improvement, not because of someone's opinion, but because your true values. And of course, that requires a lot of internal work. You have to actually know what your values are and what you stand for. So do spend some time figuring out what your authentic self is like, so you're not swayed by different opinions or things that are happening in the world. Like, understand yourself. What do you stand for? What kind of person you actually are? What do you value? What do you want to bring into the world? What do you want to be in the world? Like, you got to understand this first before expressing that authentic self, because different people have different opinions on what qualities are good, what qualities are not so good, what qualities you should work on, what qualities you should not work on. Right? So have an opinion and work on developing it. And that also comes with practice and with trying things not working out, and then learning. Like, I learned from my mistakes last year. Like, yeah, this was shit. Change, right? But if I haven't done this, I wouldn't learn such a good lesson. So the best lessons come from action. So think less, take action, be authentic. And now let's jump to the meatiest part, like how to stay more confident. Okay. First, let's get back to the idea of failure. Fail, learn from it, keep going. The most important thing here is be okay with not being right, with failing, with being wrong, and adjusting. Take pleasure in it. When you learn a lesson and you understand something better because of what you've done wrong, and now you can do it better, that's how every great person created anything great. They took action, however imperfectly, whoever you admire, like whoever that person you admire, from the greatest entrepreneur to the greatest leader, they made abundant amount of mistakes before getting where they are, before getting smarter. So start being okay with failing. And that starts with small things. Like, today I messed up my coffee. I put the water and no coffee. And the coffee was done. I'm like, why does it look like water? And then I decided to put hot water in the coffee maker, not to waste the water, and put coffee in. And then it came out, again, not like coffee, but of color of tea. I'm like, why is that? Maybe hot water doesn't work. So I put the cold water, and then it worked perfectly. So being okay. And now I know that, probably cold water and coffee works the best for coffee machines. And I didn't take it personally. It's not because I'm stupid. It's because I never, read anything about how coffee machines work. So that didn't work. But now I know that it doesn't. Be okay with failure in small things. Being okay with leaving things not super tidy. It reminds me of my mom. For her, the place, the apartment, everything had to be perfect. Like the way you dress, your makeup. And she would always tell me, well, Angela, like this doesn't look great, or your makeup or your hair. I'm like, Mom, I don't care. I just want to get this thing done, right? So I think from that perspective, my confidence levels are better. And sometimes my apartment is not as tidy. Like, things can be laying around if I have other priorities, then I don't want to spend time and it's not essential, right? So be okay with not being perfect. Be a little bit messy, be imperfect, and be totally fine with that. The second thing, notice what you do well, not just what you do wrong. Our brain learns from mistakes the best. Our brain is negatively biased. It notices what's wrong naturally. But guys, girls, women specifically, we need to have a practice. Gratitude actually helps with that. We need to have a practice of noticing what we did well at the end of the day. Don't just dwell on what didn't work or what you haven't done. No. Start with what went super well, what you've done well, and what kind of lessons you learned from your mistakes. Focus on what you did really well, because life is hard. Things are hard, especially if you're trying to do new things. Things will go wrong. But if you focus also on what you do right, on delivering things, on showing up for people, for yourself, and being resilient, focus on what's right, not just on what's wrong. And to practice it at the end of the day. Say thank you for things that went well. And congratulate yourself. Sometimes I even hug myself and tell, well, Angela, this was great. You didn't want to read this article that you needed to read for your work. You were tired, but you still read it. And that also is an accomplishment. Most people opt out for entertainment and Netflix. And I canceled my Netflix because for me right now, priority is work and studies. And even an hour of my time at the end of the day, it's a lot of time. I can read like a third of the book in 1 hour. So the point is, notice what you do well, not just what goes wrong. Third one, ants, automatic negative thoughts. We have all of them. Our brain, again, is negatively biased just for the reason to protect us from things that can go wrong, to protect us from danger in our environment. So we always have a lot of negative thoughts, and they are automatic. They kind of just come up. When you notice those thoughts, the practice that you need to start adopting is labeling them, acknowledging them. This didn't go well. I didn't sell. I didn't make the sale on this call, right? So I don't know, this kind of like thought that might come up. I'm probably not that good at sales. So reframe it positively. I had the call, I had the practice, and I learned the things that I could do better. And the things are, and you list them, and you're like, next time I'm going to do better. So you label, if you maybe have some trouble in any relationship and you went on a date and it didn't go that well, and you said, well, that's probably I'm not that great, or I'm not that attractive, or I said stupid things, etc. No, start reframing that. Well, that didn't go well. We just were not right for each other. And I learned from this that I don't feel comfortable in this situation, or I want to start speaking differently. So always focus on the result, the positive learnings. And again, when you fail, and if you're like, oh, I'm a failure, I've been not succeeding with this, say, but I've been learning, and I've been consistent, and I've been resilient, and I'm failing, and people learn the most in failures. Make it positive. So that's what you do with automatic negative thoughts. Label it, acknowledge it, don't run away from that, and then reframe it. Find the positive in all the negative. Takes practice, guys. Takes a lot of practice to get good at it. Focus on we. What it means is, my example, I do give a lot of different talks online and in live. And what helps me to get out of my head thinking about, oh, how do I look? Or, am I going to say it perfectly? Am I going to deliver the perfect speech? What helps me to get out of my head and actually get into performance that helps me to actually do better is focusing on we. I'm a part of the group of people who want to make a positive impact in the world. I'm a part of the group female entrepreneurs. I'm a part of the group of female leaders. That's who I want to be in the world. And I want to inspire with what I do. And if I manage to get out of my head and become a leader that I see myself becoming, with all my struggles, with all my insecurities, with all the setbacks, I can help so many more people. And the insights that I've accumulated throughout my learnings in my life, my coaching experience, these are valuable insights that nobody else has, exactly like myself. And it is my responsibility to get out there and do my best to deliver that into the world to help other people to struggle less. And when you focus on your mission, on how you contribute to something bigger than yourself, and all great entrepreneurs who went through a lot of setbacks and still succeeded do that. They do not focus on themselves. That's going to hinder your performance and confidence, but they focus on something bigger and on the we part, on serving others. So that's how you can really boost your confidence and performance before any important talk, event, presentation, etc. It's not just for you. It might be for your family. It might be for your friends. It might be for your company. It might be for the mission. Always focus on the we. The next one, it's not about you. Take criticism and get better. I'm getting a lot of criticism about the work that I'm doing right now. I'm trying out new sales techniques, working on bringing traffic to different sales pages or my social media. I'm working on my offers, and I send it out to people who have experience or expertise in the areas. And more often than not, literally, especially guys, entrepreneurs, they're very straight, direct. They're like, I just hate it, Angela. I don't like it. It's it's salesy, or it's too optimistic, too positive. Like, it's not believable. And they would tell you all the negative feedback right away. The point is, in this situation, is not to take it personally, but realize what you produced, this might be not as good, although different, people have different opinions. Also remember that. But also this is an opportunity to improve. And also, I'm not that great. I'm just starting out creating offers and sales pages, etc. And it's natural to not be great at it. I've never learned these skills. And so be grateful for the criticism. Get into the habit, and this is actually the habit that you want to work on. Say thank you. Thank you for your feedback. It's not even criticism. It's a feedback, personal feedback. It's not aimed at you. It's aimed, sometimes, people would say, like, you don't have much experience in that, maybe you should outsource it. So it is kind of about you, but it's not about you as a person. It's about your skill. And more often than not, there is some truth to that about your skill. And just be okay with that. And yeah, I'm not that great with that. Let me work on it and transform it and get results. And that's going to be such an empowering thing. Being bad at things and then getting better, that's actually a very powerful confidence booster. So when you find the area where you're really bad at, oh my God, I can transform this area so much. And after that, I'll be a huge advocate for anyone developing any skill, no matter how bad they are at it. The point is of this, guys, when you get criticism, it's not about you being a bad person. It's about your specific skill, about this specific area. Say thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially, if you ask your friends to do that. And that's what I recommend to do when you're starting out. Friends who can give you direct feedback, but also who will not hold back. So thank you for your feedback. Really appreciate your time, and then work on it, see what, has merit and what you can improve and get better and get better. So say thank you. Again, thank you for your feedback. Never take it personally, guys. We are not perfect. And specifically girls, I didn't even know why I use the word guys. Sometimes people tell me use the word folks. Maybe I should start using that. But back to the point, never take it personally. Feedback is feedback, and your work always needs to be improved. Not always, but especially when you're starting out, not as a beginner, that's totally normal. And then the last part of the confidence builder toolkit is about your lifestyle. Specifically, a few things I want to mention here. And I talked about these things so many times. If you want to work on that, please reach out. I have so much expertise and experience in those areas, and I practice them daily. And maybe that's why I have higher levels of confidence. I never tested genetically whether I have confidence genes, but I always felt like I am more confident than most people, and especially women. So the lifestyle factors that will help you to develop more confidence. And I'm going to tell you why they help. So meditation. Why does meditation help you to build confidence? Because actually what research studies show, it downregulates fear and anxiety centers in your brain, parts of the brain like amygdala that makes you anxious and worried and fearful. It actually downregulates the activity in that brain region, and it makes you more calm. And calm is associated with confidence. When you're confident, you are calm. You are not anxious and worried and stressed. Meditation helps to downregulate those anxious and worried centers of the brain. Very good protocol is mindful meditation, 30 minutes a day, focusing on your breath, or maybe a candle or a piece of music, maybe some mantra. So 13 minutes a day. It's also based on research mindful meditation. You can use guided meditation apps like Calm, Headspace, and Waking Up app, one of the most popular ones. So meditation. Break it down. That actually has to do with cognitive things and preventing overwhelm, but I'm not sure why I write it down. Anyhow, so after meditation, exercise. Why exercise helps you with confidence? Because it helps the brain to create and boost the production and the levels of brain neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, things that affect your confidence levels a lot. Serotonin has a lot to do with calm. Dopamine has a lot to do with drive to act, to achieve, to pursue. And I've been an exerciser since forever. I've been in athletics and professional dancing and in fitness modeling, and but I trained in the gym and all kinds of varieties of training throughout my whole life. Then we get nutrition, and what nutrition has to do is confidence. It provides building blocks for your dopamine and your serotonin. They literally cannot be done if your nutrition is suboptimal. Nutrition also will help you to reduce inflammation and stress on the level of your biochemistry, and that will help to calm down that amygdala, that fear, anxiety center in your brain. So nutrition has a lot to do with your confidence levels. A lot of foods are anxiety inducing, or caffeine. Too much caffeine is actually used in studies to produce the sense of anxiety, and anxiety and confidence do not go together. So nutrition has a lot to do with confidence. And then of course sleep. Lack of sleep considered to be sleep at inappropriate for human being times, especially between the hours of 10 p.m., 4 a.m. If you do not sleep at this time and you expose yourself to a lot of bright light, your dopamine levels, your serotonin levels drop significantly. And when those drop, your confidence also drops significantly. So lifestyle habits are just as huge as cognitive behavior protocols and tools. And there's been a lot. I've been rambling and talking a lot, but I also feel like I did deliver a lot of practical value. And of course, guys, the power is always in action. I always recommend start small. Choose the area where you feel it's like dominating you, and also the area that is the easiest for you to address. Now, if your sleep is really suboptimal, start working on that. It will give huge boost to your confidence and energy levels. If your automatic negative thoughts are very abundant and unmanaged, then start working on that, because having a more positive self-talk, encouraging self-talk will help you to take action in all the other areas. So figure out what's driving the most negative outcomes and start working on that with 1 or 2 actions that you can take every day for a couple of weeks, and then start working on the next one. That's how changing of habits is done. And, there is a lot I have to say about habits. We did an episode of that on that lately. So you've learned a lot about confidence. Now, again, back to action. If you'd like to have a session with me, figuring out, okay, what are the things that I need to work on to boost confidence, and then what are, according to research, the most effective tools, and how I can start working on that in a very simple manner, please reach out. My email is in the show notes, angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. Follow me on Instagram, Angela Brain Body Coach, for daily tips, content, to see in stories of what I eat, what I do, different hacks and thoughts on performance and confidence and productivity and nutrition and lifestyle. So email me for a session with any questions. Reach out and follow me on Instagram, Angela Brain Body Coach, and share this episode, guys, girls, folks, share this episode with other people. If you found this useful, please spread the information. You will help a lot more people, and people will be thankful to you for that, if you help them. And it just creating a better world when we share something useful that we believe will help this person. It's all about creating this better world. So share, rate our podcast to spread the word around. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure talking all about confidence. Stay tuned for the episode on Friday. That's going to be more about lifestyle and nutrition. Haven't figured out exactly the topic, but stay tuned. Friday is the next episode. Until then, start working on your confidence, because your life depends on it.